so they're very hard to get any close-up shots with them, hence moving the camera. But I'm not tightening that with any torque yet. I just want to roll it and see how it looks. That looks fine. It's this one here that's moving. See, I think that's still got too much play in it for my liking. No, I'm not going to run with that one. I'm going to put the original Series 2 one back on again. As I said before, there was nothing wrong with it. I'm just not happy with that play. That play there is far too much. It's my gut feeling that the spider's too long. I've seen people that say you can shim up this crown wheel, but no way. Not when you don't need to. I'm not doing that. So let's get our tool back on again. Tool out, spider out, and crown wheel out. Don't go amiss. I build engines all the time, so there'll be use for them and on along the way. So this is a Series 2 crown wheel. As I said, there's nothing wrong with it, so it's not like I need to change it for any other reason than, I suppose, vanity, or because they did use this same crown wheel even in the TV series, so they're not rubbish. I wouldn't use it in a 225 or a tuned up scooter, but they're fine for standard scooters like this one. What I'm going to do is the same again, tighten that. I'll do once it's started. And done it again. That way, I've got some space here. Make sure the ratchet's in tighten mode. So I'm not talking that up again yet either. Take it all out. There's no play there at all. No play at all. That's better in my opinion. What I did as well was I put a bit more play back into the chain when I fired the engine up prior to stripping it down again. It was making a rubbing noise. I think it was just too tight. They do need a bit of lash kick for them, so I'm quite happy with that. So we can step ahead and start putting the clutch back in, I suppose. That's it. Just make sure she spins freely, yeah. I mean, there is a bit of play, but it's minute. Put that back again. And because I've used it a couple of times now, I'm going to bend up the other side as well, just to make sure. That she's not moving nowhere. Perfect, they're still bent, yeah. Just to make sure they go over them again. Right, put a bit of oil on the end of each spring and give them a turn when you put them in, and they should stick. Bit of oil, grease even, and again give it a turn. A bit more grease than that, and a turn. And a turn. Load of grease on my hands, so. And a turn. What you do is, because you can put these in wrong, make sure you line them up with the correct screws. I've knocked that one, I'll see. Put a bit more grease on it, and a bit of grease on there. Just seeing if that's in line, which it is. That's it. Whew. Clutch tool put back on again. Just loosely to start. And then, if you remember, we've got this clutch plate is the top one. I'll just leave them on them. The tool, the cork, the steel, the cork. Oh, don't fall off. Turn that in a bit more than it is. It's got a lid for it to sit on. Right, so steel again. And another cork. And as I keep saying, a steel again. And a cork. Followed by the last steel. Followed by the last cork. And if you can see again, all the oil ways are cleared out. It's just some old school trick where you get more oil into the gearbox doing that. Right, so I can tighten up the tool. tight, that's tight. Start doing up our centre, and what that's doing is pushing the springs down. And as I said before, what you need to do then is just get a screwdriver in and make sure that they're all in place, because they do drift as they're being tightened. Probably a bit too loose at the moment, so tighten that up a bit more than it is. That's it. What you can do as well is start building the clutch. Because you only really need to drive it in enough just to clear the plates. You don't want it so that all the springs become spring bound and don't pop out again. So just a few turns, I'm already halfway on at least. So another steel. Yeah, that doesn't need turning a hell of a lot more in now. We're not that far off now. It's not cleared enough to put the circlip on, but probably do about 3 more turns and we'll be in business. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's cleared. Right, so the circlip, as I've said before, and everybody says the same thing. Where it joins, put in one of these captured hooks, so when it spreads under load it can't go anywhere and it can't undo. Again, I'm going to get down to see that. Remarkably, them springs look quite good where they are. I'm going to stick that in that one and then work my way around from there. Again, I'm going to get down to see what I'm doing. In fact, let me do it there because you might see it a bit better. So put the circlip in about halfway and you're doing a circle turn, like a roll motion, rolling it back in. You get your screwdriver and just make sure that they're all in. That one's not, it is now. And there, where my screwdriver is the gap. So I can, for all intents and purposes, undo that now. And that circlip will take the weight. There we go, that's loose. Right, that's all out of the way now. So there's our clutch, no plate. Don't forget the nipple sits on there on an LI. I never used to mind before, but I think I'm more of a fan of the GP now. The Vespa-esque clutch pressure. I just think it's like a phosphor bronze white tube that comes out. What I'm going to do is just stick a 14 on here and turn it over as I said before, it's got tons of compression. It's a brand new piston and barrel and head, and it is virtually a new engine in a bike. Basically, it's it did have all new bearings, and I've never had a rear hub go on me before. It was a good job I was watching that turning. It was literally stepping towards me here and going in there, and then when that rotated round it had come out, which, if you think of it logically, if that's on a flat surface, it can't be this equipment. You know, the clutch can't move in and out in the same place unless it's on a skew, which it can't go because it goes straight down on the shaft anyway. Sits on a plain bearing. What was happening was the actual lay shaft itself must have been doing something, because it was literally doing that. It's the best way I can describe it. Not as bad as that, but I could hear a noise, which I thought at the beginning was just the chain when I first ran it up, and because I needed to strip it down and start again in effect, I didn't bother to video stripping it down. It's only the reverse of building it anyway. What I'll probably do is try and edit between this video and what's it today, Thursday? It would have been Tuesday's video, because it didn't come out yesterday, too busy. So as far as I'm concerned, when I turn that over, that should be fine. Looking at that, you'd think, oh, that's been rubbing on the Kickstarter, but it hasn't. It's just so poorly made. It's rough, and it's got a bit of rust on it from the few days it's been sitting out the engine, so it is quite damp at the moment. I mean, I can't move that at all with my hand. So let's get a 14mm on there and turn over the engine and see, just keeping an eye on the clutch, making sure it's not moving in and out. That's a 13. Here's that one, 14. Yeah. Yeah. I can already see it's running level. Perfect. That's miles better. Just turning it out a little bit. That's how noticeable it was before. Compression is unbelievable. I'm just at top dead centre there. That's it, I've gone over. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to stick on little thimble again. Oh, I've got airlock there. That's it. That doesn't put a tab of grease on that. And try and squirt it down. It's that's it. Too much grease. Getting a Hydra. That's it, she's gone down now. I was getting like an airlock, and it was like literally like a pneumatic sponge pushing against it. Right, I'm going to put another new gasket on the engine, so I need to get some oil to just dip that in, and I'm also going to realign my clutch arm, and you could pinch the gasket because we've got studs here. It's a damn sight easier, to be honest, because they just sit on the studs. But, I just got to put the light back around. Not that it's shining a lot of light, but right. So we've got our oiled up gasket again. Put it back on gingerly. Don't go too mad with it. Because they can rip as easy as looking at them, believe it or not. And if you're paying £4 or £5 for each one, It can work out a bit of an expensive hobby. Push it down. That's in place. And we'll grab our engine side and stick that back on. Very greasy, but hey ho. Just swap the 11 to a 10. And of course, because I've moved the bike, everything's over there now. Our washers are there. Start anywhere, like I say, they're just finger tight, and again the designations tell you that it's a stainless steel nut facing you. Again, it's just nice to see if you're looking at a bike where all the bolts are all uniform, nuts are uniform, washers are all the same. It's just me, don't make them any better. It just, to me, it sort of streaks that somebody's or shouts to you that somebody's had a bit of fault, not just bolted everything up. Them days are gone now. I think they're too pampered pets with the bits and bobs you can buy for them now. There's never been an easier time to restore a Lambretta, in my opinion. Well, it is, in all the years that I've had scooters and built them. This is the easiest time now. eBay's made it a lot easier, although it's driven the prices up, which is the only downside. Putting that on back to front. There you go. Last one on the top. And again, because we're not tightening these up, you can finger tighten them. The screwdriver fit that goes into the ratchet's perfect for these, just tightening them finger tight. I've got a few to put on the bottom yet. Again, it's not tightened, it's just finger tight. Oil out the way, because I'm just going to move the camera back a bit, as I need the rest of the washers and nuts for the bottom. Again, right in towards you. Move that nice out of the way. Just looking where my washers have disappeared to. There's a nut. There's a nut. Ah, oh, no, they're not over there. That's a socket. That's for the exhaust. Move the scooter over a little bit. Oh, there they are, underneath the jack. One, two. These bloody plastic gloves, they just fall apart in your hands these days, they're rubbish.